I'll just do a quick little pan here. We got some applause too.
Nice.
So the next thing I kind of wanted to talk about was sort of how the process of making art might be made to be greener. The actual, like, the art itself, not what's discarded.
Okay, that for me I think is really specific to each individual artist.
Mm-hmm.
And it's up to you as an artist to decide how green you want to go.
Right.
Like I was saying earlier, if you want to make, it out of some totally caustic material, that's up to you. My whole thing was I was painting in oil, and I was reading the back of my oil paint thinner, or actually the quick drying medium, and it just had pictures of dead fish, and it said that like this stuff causes mutations in animals, and I'm like, I'm using this on a daily basis, so I wanted to.
You're like, it must be okay.
I wanted to switch, I'm like, but hey, I wanted that look that oil gave me because I really liked it. That's what, the kind of really glossy, kind of impasto thick stuff that oil painting has, that tactile, like, light capturing ability that.
Sure.
So what I have here is, this is an actual oil painting. And you can see maybe some of the texture on it and the quality of the paint. It's very saturated, it's beautiful. And as opposed to this is gouache. This is another medium that I went to after oil, but then you can see the problem with gouache that I didn't like. It's it already fractured, and it just doesn't have that same oil quality.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I made my fake oil painting, which you can see is very vibrant, has a lot of that texture, and what it is actually tempera paint, and then I added a thicker medium to it, the bonding. I actually just added glue, like Elmer's glue, and then to get that high glossy look that oil paint has, I shellacked it. So it's just using alternative methods, and now shellac comes from a beetle. It's not a petroleum-based substance.
Right.
I mean, it does need alcohol to break it down, but that is also, we can ferment that naturally. It's just about using less processed materials that don't impact the environment as much, and getting the same kind of quality artwork out of it, and the same feeling that we have from that artwork. That's what we want.
Nice. Yeah, I see what you're saying. That's good. One thing for me is when I look at these different pieces of artwork.
And this piece is actually all natural pigments.
Oh yeah?
So that is all made from beet juice, shellac, eucalyptus leaves, and India ink.
Nice.
So
cool. And then lastly, you have here some lighting stuff.
This is actually going to be the lighting fixtures for the upcoming show, and I wanted to make a portable LED. I don't know if you can see that. And this would be either ceiling mounted so that it could be directed at the artwork.
Right.
But basically, there's 3 AA batteries in here that are rechargeable.
Uh-huh.
I've created a bicycle-powered recharging station, and you just charge these, and they're good for 5 hours. So the whole show will be lit with those.
And the people who are participating have to ride the bike, right?
If you want to see the show, you gotta power the show. That's why it's going to be the human-powered shows, and actually that's one of the greatest human powers we have, is converting fuels like food into mechanical energy.
Sure.
That we can then turn into light or art.
So where's the art show going to be at?
It's actually in Culver City on Washington Boulevard. We have a studio there, and we're timing it, which I will get to later, is part of our sustainable practices, trying to time it with other events so that I'm not having an audience have to come specifically to my show. They're already going to be there. So why not, coattail it a little bit, pile on. What I want, in a show, I'm looking for a place that's Now with these lighting stuff, I can have it in a parking lot, abandoned building, or whatever, but what I want is to be as close to municipal, like public transportation as possible. Okay? I want it to be where, I want to be able to take the art to the people instead of having like, all the people have to come to the art, if you get my drift. So they're already going to be there for the art walk. Let's just have more art at the art walk, you know?
Definitely. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Absolutely. This is really cool. I like the idea of it, and I like how it's all sort of work together as a whole system.
Yeah, you know, it kind of, that's part of the Sustainable Art Fair, is putting all these pieces together that already exist and making a more ecologically friendly and show out of it. So you know, these are not new ideas, like having big groups of people all in the same location. There's nothing new. You know, having the transportation, that's always been key. It's just trying to realize using our resources to our best of our abilities.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Thanks.